Hello, everybody, and welcome to Mondoid, your one-stop shop for all things Project Zomboid. And this week is another slow week as far as news, though unlike last week, there's still a little bit to talk about and stuff that I would like to touch on. If you missed last week, there was basically a Q&A, an Ask Them Anything almost situation where they picked some community questions and answered them for you on the blog. So if you didn't see last week's blog, feel free to check it out. Go to the webpage, and you can just go back the week prior because it's definitely worth reading, at least from some entertainment standpoint. But we'll dive right into this week. There's three main topics they're covering: what's going on with the test build, what's going on with modding, and of course a little something special as far as NPCs are concerned, which is always nice. They're having to basically say they're hoping to have some decent NPC and West Point stuff to show off in the next exciting episode of Mondoid, essentially, for next week. But this week, we'll start with the test building, as it's the first subject that's there, so that only makes sense. So some cool stuff that they've added and some necessary stuff that they've added in this upcoming build is some frames per second, some FPS optimization that they've got running underneath the zombie hood. They've basically added the ability to use multi-core support. So if you have a processor that is multi-cored, it is going to basically make a huge FPS boost for your PC or for the game itself. It's going to be able to take advantage of those multiple cores and do something with it, as opposed to what I assume was using one core no matter what, which is going to be good for me, and more particularly because I'm super excited to record and do that, because right now I usually go between 40 and 50 FPS when recording. But hopefully that'll jump up. It'll just be a better optimized platform for me to record on, and for everybody else, that should mean a much more optimized game for you to play. So especially if you're on a lower end PC, it should help out just a little bit. But if you only are running single core machines, it is automatically going to detect that, and it seems like it's automatically going to run on one core. That option should automatically be off if you are running on one core, so you won't have to worry about that at all. Other than smashing the bugs, they say, that this whole new system has created for Test Build 17, there's some polishing work going on, some big polishing stuff. Romaine is working on some interaction stuff, some context-sensitive interactions, being able to right-click on stuff and choose certain things, and basically having it work a little bit better. Being able to double-click on something in your inventory and for it to automatically be used or moved or whatever it is you're trying to do with it, which is awesome. Just some general polishing, which the game could obviously use. It's in alpha, so that's going to be fixed. As far as big reports or big bug reports, the teleporting crops bug is now fixed, which is awesome. But the invisible wall one still has not been kind of figured out. They don't know why it's doing it. They're still trying to figure it out. They have some breadcrumb trails that they can follow to. Hopefully it will lead to what's causing that particular bug, but that is still avoiding them, which is obviously pushing back ever so slightly the Desura release. But of course, all these releases are currently being put up on the forums for you to download if you want to play it and not wait for the Desura build to come out. Another cool thing that they're doing is modding support, which is really cool. Now, we already knew that they have released the tools for everybody to build their own mods with the game, etc., etc. What I mean by modding support is basically adding an in-game option to turn on already supported mods. So, for instance, if I had a mod like the lockpicking mod that is featured on this video, I could just pop up in the mod menu and just turn it off or turn it on. Like, that is something that you will be able to do. No longer will you have like this whole, I gotta install it, reinstall it, move it to the correct folder, blah, 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 blah. Once it's installed, to be able to turn it off and turn it on should be super easy, kind of similar to how Minecraft does it. So that is really good. Big thumbs up for me, because once you get them in, you don't really want them to kind of be this secondary encumbrance thing, wondering if they're there or not. You just want to be able to have the game tell you, hey, this mod is on, or hey, this mod is off, and you can change it at a whim as far as that's concerned. So that's really cool. Really excited for that. And finally, there's not much here to talk about as far as NPCs. There's actually something to show. I would highly suggest that you guys go to this particular blog and check out the video, because it's a little tease, a little bit of a taste of what's to come with NPCs. But the focus of being character movement is what they're focusing on with this. It's basically what they're talking about is they're not talking about the animation of the movements, but the way in that their previous guys, AI survivors, always walked into tile by tile units. and only in ever 8 directions. They were always a little, basically they were a little robotic. So what they're showing here in this video is a more natural look as far as AI movement and AI kind of pathing, the way they move around in a real time as if they were loaded up in your character's general loading vicinity, not within the metagame themselves. So take a look. It's pretty cool. But they're saying next week they're going to see something, or we're going to see something a lot more beefier as far as NPCs are concerned, which is, I can't wait, because the past 2 Mondoids have been pretty short for a Mondoid recording. But when it comes to NPCs and they have more for us to talk about, I can go off for forever talking about that stuff. So I'm very excited to see what they're going to bring to the table next week. But that's going to wrap up this Mondoid, another short and sweet one, which means I can go back to playing some Final Fantasy 11, not 11, 14. But go check out the blog just for that video itself. I think it's worth it. And if you're one of those once a week viewers, I will see you next week. If you're a regular, I will see you later today. Thank you guys so much for watching. And as always, I will see you all next time.